What's going on YouTube? Super Insane 18 here, and I am bringing you a post-Banlist Prank Kids deck profile for the October 2021 format, so let's go ahead and jump on in. Okay, so starting things off, we are just playing 3 copies of every single kid. So 3 Dropsies, 3 Lampsies, 3 Fansies, and then 3 Roxies. This is just to maximize out on the possibility of us seeing a kid on our opening hand. Then what we have next is actually a really nice tech card. It is Nemesis Corridor. This is the card that will allow us to recycle our Meow-Meow after we've already used it, and I will go into how we get to it a little bit later on in the deck profile, but this card is just honestly really good. You special summon it by returning a banished monster, so you get to return your Meow and get a free summon out of it. Then we have 3 copies of Parallel Exceed. I think Parallel Exceed is still phenomenal in the deck because not only does it let you just chain block your kids, but it lets you go into rank 4 plays or even just link climb further. Then for our hand traps, we're running 2 copies of Effect Veiler, 2 copies of Ash Blossom, 2 copies of Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion, and then 1 copy of Nibiru the Primal Being. This is actually the 41st card because, spoiler alert, we are playing Crossout Designator. So technically, if you wanted to stay at 40, you could just take out the Nibiru, but I think that is definitely worth having. For our 1 of spells, we are playing 1 of Called by the Grave, 1 of Instant Fusion, and then we have 1 of Thunder Dragon Fusion. Now, Thunder Dragon Fusion is actually the way that we get to search the Nemesis Corridor. If we make our Predaplant and use the Thunder Dragon Fusion in order to summon out a copy of Butler, on our next turn, because it can't be done the same turn that it's sent, you can actually banish this card, and that will let you search for the Nemesis Corridor, which in turn will let you recycle your Meow. We are playing 2 copies of Polymerization. I really wanted to play this at 3 because I think with Meow being at 1, this card is more important than ever. I just couldn't find the room for it. You could technically bump this list up to 42 in order to play the 3rd. I just didn't think that it would be the best consistency-wise, so I kept it at 2, but I really do want to try to find a way to play it at 3. Then we have 3 copies of Crossout Designator. This card, if you watched my last Prank Kids deck profile, this is a replacement for Triple Tactics talent. I personally think this card is just better. This card is an absolutely crazy card, completely game-changing as far as the entire just game as a whole is concerned, and that's why we play the ratio of hand traps that we play is specifically for this card, so I think that this is just a better card overall than the Tactics. And then onto the Prank Kid cards, we are playing 1 of Prank Kid Pranks, 3 copies of Prank Kids Pandemonium, 3 copies of Prank Kids Place, and that is going to round up the spells. And finishing up the deck, we do have 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence, another crossout target, another hand trap, just a good way to kind of stunt your opponent. So that's going to be it for the main deck. Again, that is 41. If you want to drop it down to 40, just go ahead and take the Nibiru out. Now, kicking things off with the extra deck, we are playing 1 copy of Rocket Ride and 1 copy of Weather Washer. Then finishing up the Prank Kids Fusions, we are actually playing double Battle Butler. The reason we are playing double Battle Butler is because we are playing the Thunder Dragon Fusion package, so we're going to either want to summon one of these, either of the fusion ways, with either Pandemonium or with Thunder Dragon Fusion on turn 1, and then later turns we'll summon the other one using the other spell that we haven't used yet. The XYZs, we are still playing Totally Awesome and Abyss Dweller. These are the only 2 XYZs that you really need for the deck. Totally Awesome is for the Dropsies combo, and Dweller you can easily make off either the Roxies combo or with your Parallel Exceed. Unfortunately, we are back to 1 copy of Meow-Meow-Mu. This deck did receive a massive hit on the ban list, but I think it's still definitely a good deck. It just becomes more resource heavy. You have to manage your resources a little better to make sure that you have this when you need it. We have 1 copy of Prank Kids Bow Wow Bark. This is just for the standard combo. We have 2 copies of Dodo-Doodle-Doo and 1 copy of Roarin' Roaster. This Roarin' Roaster should be a 3rd Dodo-Doodle-Doo, but I do not have one, so if you're in the same boat as me, you can get away with just playing the Roarin' Roaster instead. Optimally, though, this should be a 3rd copy of Dodo. Then we have 1 copy of Asa the Earth Charmer. This is so that we can just get around stuff like Contact C. We have one copy of Predaplant Verte Anaconda. This is for the Thunder Dragon Fusion combo. If you have any 2 monsters that you can afford to get rid of, you make the Verte, you send the Thunder Dragon Fusion, you summon your Butler, and then on the next turn, the Thunder Dragon Fusion gets you a Nemesis, which will help you recover your Meow. If you don't need the Nemesis to recover your Meow, Thunder Dragon Fusion can actually search Fansies, because Fansies is a Thunder monster, so it does work out as well. We have one copy of Nightmare Unicorn. This is just generic utility, don't really need to say much about that. And then your gaming card is going to be Access Code. This is just the card that you're going to use to swing for game, because you have so many different attribute link monsters that you're going to have in your grave. Anytime you make this, you're probably just gonna win. And there you guys have it. Short, sweet, and to-the-point deck profile for Prank Kids. Unfortunately, this deck was hit the absolute hardest out of any of the meta contenders on the latest list that we just got, so we gotta take that with a grain of salt. I still think that the deck is playable. As I was saying during the deck profile, it becomes much more of a resource management game than a I'm just going to normal one kid and go off kind of game. You can still afford to do that on turn 1, but you might want to save your Meow for later games, so maybe we'll make another video talking about that, but I just wanted to make sure that I got this deck profile out for you guys. If you liked it, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, and if you want to see the side deck for this deck profile, go ahead and back me on Patreon. It's only going to cost you $1, and it does help support the channel, so I would very much appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time.